Hey everyone, how are you today? So if we haven't met yet, my name's Erin Britton and I'm one of the coaches on here. And I wanted to talk to you guys really quick about meal planning and meal prep because I know you guys have already been kind of experiencing that, being that we are already 5 days into your nutrition plans that you're following, and hearing also about some of the portion control that we've followed for a few years. You're probably thinking some things about meal planning and meal prep. When I first started my journey with health and fitness, which was 3 years ago, I really was hesitant. I didn't want to start. I was in denial for a lot of reasons. But one of the reasons I was hesitant was because I really didn't want to do any meal planning. I didn't want to do any meal prep. It really scared me. My brain just doesn't think that way. It doesn't fit into my life. I am a full-time working mom. At the time I was working a corporate job. I actually just literally 4 weeks ago quit that corporate job to coach full-time. Though I'm not quite full-time, I do work a part-time job now, but that's another story, and I'm happy to share that with you next week. I was really busy. At the time, I was even driving an hour to work each day with my toddler in the car. And I was just like, when in the world am I supposed to do all that crazy prep? I was seeing on social media people doing prep, that were following healthy plans, and they would prep out all these meals for the whole week that would look so great. But I was like, that's just not me. My brain doesn't go that way. My time doesn't go that way. It's not going to happen. But I started to follow the Portion Fix plan. A friend invited me to do it and I joined, and I started to follow it. And over time, I started to find, I didn't actually have to do this major plan. I didn't have to do this major prep, but I couldn't also wing it, because whenever I would wing it, I would then start grabbing my kiddos' snacks. I would then go for the bowl of popcorn. I would get completely off track and my health would go downhill. And so I had to have some sort of plan and maybe even some sort of prep in place just to make my life easier. And so here is what I did, and maybe this would be helpful to you. For some, doing that major prep and that major plan ahead of time works great. It works great for your mind. It works great for your schedule. And that is awesome. I say go for it. But if not, if it scares you, maybe something like this would work well for you. So what worked well for me was, I followed the Portion Fix system, which tells me how much food I needed to eat in a day in order to maintain a healthy lifestyle, in order to achieve whatever results I was going for. So at the time when I first started, I was looking to lose weight. And so it took, okay, well, how much do you weigh now? What workout are you doing? And how much do you want to lose? This is how much food you should eat in the day. And it helped me figure out, well, what are those portion sizes using those color-coded containers by food group. And so what I did is I said, okay, well, I need to know exactly when I should eat each container, how I should pair them up. I can't just wing it throughout the day, because when I was doing the winging it, then it was like end of the day, oh wait, I didn't eat X, Y, Z. I forgot to have 2 vegetable containers today, or I forgot to have this, or I've overeaten on my carbs, which was typically the case. So I had to have some sort of plan in place. And what worked best for me was to just say, okay, I'm going to have a roadmap that I follow every day. Didn't mean I had to eat the same foods every day, but for a roadmap for my food group. So I came up with something like this. So this is an example for plan A, and it's probably backwards for you, and I'm sorry about that. But so every day for breakfast, and this was my schedule then, and this was totally flexible. It's a little different now, but I would do, because I was driving first thing in the morning, my Shakeology, and so that would count as a red container. And then my breakfast snack would always be a yellow container and a purple container. Now, it could always be the same foods or it could be different, but I always knew it was a yellow container and a purple container, which was a carb and a fruit. And my lunch would always be 2 green containers, 2 vegetables, and a red container, a protein. And my afternoon snack, a purple container and a teaspoon, a fruit and a healthy fat. And my dinners would always be a protein, a red container, a green container, a veggie, a yellow container, a carb, and a teaspoon, a healthy fat. I still do my dinners this way. My dinners are always this mapping right here. And the reason being is because it doesn't matter where I go, any restaurant, any party, any sitting with my family, I can find a dinner that fits this combination: a protein, a veggie, a carb, and a healthy fat. So it makes it really easy to make changes on the fly and make me and my whole family happy. And then I always left room for a dessert because I wanted something at the end of the night. And so I had a red container. I would always do yogurt. With a blue container, I would do some almonds, and an orange container, I do some pumpkin seeds. So I always had the same roadmap plan in place, that every meal I knew what food groups I wanted for that meal, so that if something changed in my day, that now I don't have my foods with me, I knew what food groups I was looking for. Okay, now I'm going out to lunch with a friend. I know lunch is always 2 green containers, 2 vegetables, and a red container, a protein. And I could then eyeball my portion sizes, which I didn't always want to do, but I could sometimes do if I had to. So I had my plan in place like that, and I didn't have to replan it every week. It was done. And then here's how I would then, each Sunday night, I would make a more official plan for my family. I would plan out our family dinners, and this made it really easy to do my grocery shopping for the week. Typically my breakfast, my lunch, my snack, I would in general eat the same thing every single day. I can do that. I'm at work, it's just easy to do, to take with me and go. If there was a change in my plans, I knew how to handle that. But for my dinners, I would do this. So on Sunday night, I would sit down and say, okay, I know I want to find something to eat each night of the week that fits my roadmap of a protein, a carb, a veggie, and a healthy fat. Well, I can find a lot of things in my Fixate cookbook that meet that criteria. And so I write out for each night of the week what we're going to be having for dinner that meet that roadmap. And that roadmap makes me happy, and it makes my whole family happy. And so I plan that out. And I'll usually just take like a few minutes, Sundays sometime, and I'll do that. So this is what I did for last week. So on Sunday night, we had the root veggie stew with some ground turkey, and I added some garlic bread for my son because he was really wanting some garlic bread. On Monday, we did the herb-crusted salmon from the new Fixate cookbook with Brussels sprouts and sweet potatoes. My son loved it. He's 5 years old. He's actually eaten everything I'm going to tell you here. This is all out of the new Fixate cookbook with Ultimate Portion Fix. He's 5. He's had like the best eating week we've ever had. It was like awesome. Then Tuesday, we did chicken marsala, and we did some broccoli and some baby red potatoes. And on Wednesday, we did the antipasta salad, and then here was what was super fun. We did with that the peanut butter cookies that are made with sweet potatoes out of the cookbook. And he was so excited to have cookies for dinner, and he loved the salad. And then last night we did leftovers, so easy. And tomorrow night we're gonna do homemade pizzas out of that cookbook. He loves doing that. We do that a lot on Friday nights. No, that's tonight. That's tonight. So that's what I will do, is I'll just plan out what our dinners are going to be, and that's how I do my meal planning. My prep, very little. Sometimes I'll decide my lunches being, this week actually was the root veggie stew. I made that on Sunday night for dinner and I had enough left over. I could then have it for my lunches throughout the week. Sometimes what I'll do, my lunch being 2 greens in a red container, I will on Sunday make a turkey veggie soup that lasts me all week long. But then that will be the only meal prep that I do. So I do very little meal prep. Just sometimes I'll prep something that I'll eat for lunch throughout the week, like a soup. And maybe something like for my breakfast snack, I'll do some pumpkin oat muffins. There's some great new carrot cake muffins in the new Fix8 cookbook. So I might prep those on Sundays to have for my breakfast throughout the week. But other than that, I'm not prepping everything else. I just have a plan in place, a roadmap in place, so I know what food groups I'm eating and when. And I have a plan in place as to what we want for dinners throughout the week. This really helps me with my grocery shopping, so I'm not over shopping on foods. We've really saved a lot of money this way. It used to be I would buy all these vegetables and fruits at the store with all this grand idea in mind, and then we'd not eat them and it would go bad. Now I know exactly what to buy because we've planned out what we're going to be making for dinner. And this makes it easy because if I'm too busy to cook, which has been happening a lot lately, I've already written down what we're going to have for dinner. I write down the page number in the cookbook and my husband can cook it and we're done. So I hope that is helpful and maybe it takes a little bit of fear away from meal planning and meal prep. You really don't have to do any at all. Have some light plan in place to know where you're going, and you can live that happy, healthy lifestyle. If you have any questions about this, I'd be happy to answer them, and so will your coach. Alrighty, have a great day. Bye-bye.